In what is now southern Iraq, around 2300 BC, the land of Sumer, a collection of Bronze Age city-states along the banks of the Tigris and the Euphrates River. They were centralized around temples, and each city ruled by a king. Uruk was the largest. There was also Nippur, Enlil, and Kish, among others. Outside of Sumer were tribal barbarians and nomads. We begin when a priestess of Ishtar becomes pregnant and hides her newborn in a reed basket, sending him down a river. The child Sargon is found by the palace gardener in the city of Kish and raised there. As a young man, Sargon gains favor at the court of King Urzababa and becomes his cupbearer after a prophetic dream. Soon after, Urzababa begins to fear Sargon and makes several attempts to murder him. He fails, and Urzababa dies in unknown circumstances shortly thereafter. From here, Sargon usurps power in Kish and becomes its new ruler. As ruler, he was unwilling to submit and share power with the other kings, so he swiftly makes war against them. He marched on Uruk and conquered it, symbolically tearing down the city's walls. The king of Uruk, Lugal-Zahi, escaped with his army, and in the deserts he fought 2 battles against the upstart Sargon of Akkad. In the second, his army was smashed and routed. Beaten, Lugal-Zahi was personally captured, where he was dragged to the city of Nil in a dog chain and forced to recognize Sargon as king of Sumer and emperor of Akkad. Then Sargon washed his weapon in the southern sea, the Persian Gulf, as a symbol of his conquest. Turning then to his neighbors in the north, to his enemies in the city of Kazala, Sargon laid waste, annihilating it. He murdered them all, so the birds could not find a place to perch on the ground. He had conquered from the lower sea to the upper sea. The first empire of Mesopotamia was made. He founded his capital, named Akkad, near modern-day Baghdad, and kept a standing army of 5,000 loyal troops. To prove his wealth and power, not forgetting his roots, he made a royal garden of exotic plants from across his lands. In the late years of his reign, there was a devastating famine. A great god was angry, and he destroyed his people by famine. From east to west, they were put in their graves. This was the cause of a rising, and the rebels besieged Akkad, and Sargon would not be trapped. Sargon went onward and suppressed them brutally, keeping the peace by the sword. He died, reigning largely in peace for 55 years. Speaking of his greatness, Sargon of Akkad said, "The black-haired people I rule over, mighty mountains I destroyed, the upper and lower mountains, the country of the sea I besieged. Whosoever king shall be exalted after me, let him rule the black-headed people, smash through the mountains, and besiege the lands of the sea."